primary source of damage gets caught right to start the fight, it's always going to be an issue. But let's move into the draft here. And we talked about compositional issues for OMG. We talked about issues for top esports as well. Where would you like to see these teams turn, as they're going to be returning to the same sides of the ball?
So the big difference we have so far is that Game 1, TES banned LeBlanc. They're at least keeping the Kalista and set bans the same, but this time opting to ban out the Thresh. I still expect us to see an Ezreal first pick. I think going for the Ezreal-Yuumi combination and the core of your composition was fine. The only thing you probably opt into changing would be the Rek'Sai Akali setup, and go for something that does give you a bit more consistency. But now Yuumi gone as well, so makes you wonder if 369 now, if TS will just take the Aphelios, but no, instead just saying, hey, Ezreal Yuumi isn't the thing, it's just the Ezreal.
Yeah, the Yuumi's great, but the Ezreal is even better. And SMLZ says, look, I'm happy to do it again. If you're happy to do it again, it worked for me last time. It worked better than it did for you.
Once again, SMLZ loves his champion. He's now played it 6 times, played Ezreal once, Kalista once to split, so this is clearly pure comfort for him now.
Yep, and I mean, we kind of saw that during the fights in that last one. He was able to just free fire away for most of it, assuming that the rest of the team couldn't get onto him. And we'll see if OMG are going to go for this full late game style once again, or if they have something to bridge the gap a little bit more.
And this time opting for the Trundle, and Karsa also not wanting to play the Graves. Karsa, just like Hacker, has not played Graves' split yet. So 2 junglers who want to stay away from that. Instead, Karsa opting into the Lee Sin Trundle matchup. Of course, you do lose out pre-6, and then 6 you do start having the ability to come back since you do have the Dragon's Rage.
Leona once again locked in, and 85% win ratio on this Leona. We keep on seeing it as a backup support for this Ezreal when the Yuumi is removed from the options.
But this is very different to where the Ezreal Yuumi bot lane gets pretty much free scaling together, to where Leona, right, is a champion that more wants to try and make things happen early on, but Ezreal definitely not the champion that can follow up on that. Of course, you can try to find timings to roam and leave the map, since, well, not leave the map, leave the lane, since if you left the map...
I'm out! Peace!
Exactly. God, if he leaves the map,
honestly,
OMG 2-0.
If I was top esports and Hacker gets that kick onto JackeyLove, at that point, I'm going to leave the map, honestly. But that wasn't what happened. They played the game instead. OMG going to ban away the Echo here on the answer.
Yeah, and the Echo is pretty strange ban. Typically, you only see it banned when you want to opt into picking the Syndra, but the Syndra already banned in itself as well. I'm going to guess it's signaling towards a mid pick on 4, and if not, I would just say that's a really strange ban if you're going to counter pick mid on 5, regardless.
I mean, Knight does play a lot of Echo, so maybe it's just like a...
Echo's not really a champion you can blind pick. It does a lot of rough matchups.
Don't know, perhaps they know something we don't know. Perhaps it's something that Icon was thinking of going for here. But they're still going to have that counter pick. Bear in mind, they're on the red side, so they have that mid pick for last. They can go for whatever they want against Knight's blind pick. The Wukong comes through from Curse. It's something that has been so exceptionally strong in the LPL.
Yeah, it's been our most contested top lane pick right now, sitting at a 78% presence rate, and I think it's done pretty well, right? We see it consistently, even if it can't find an impact in laning phase, which it does in a lot of lane matchups once it hits that level 6 point. In teamfights and skirmishes, it is just so insane. It can win teamfights single-handedly.
It just does so much damage, as well as obviously knocking up the entire enemy team, but being able to jump in, get a combo off into your ultimate, and then once your ultimate is done with, get another combo off. You can easily finish off 1 or 2 squishies if you're left unchecked. It's going to be answered by this Mordekaiser from 369.
I expect the Orianna here. You have set up in Lee Sin and Leona as well. It's also a champion. Not only did he play the other day, but also checked his solo queue account. Has started playing that one a bit more. Something
that has been played a ton over in Europe. And understandably, because it looks incredibly strong at the minute. We've seen lots of Orianna games recently that it has an absolutely massive impact in the mid lane. Also, just the sheer lane presence that you have in the early game is pretty outstanding.
And I want to see what Icon's answer ends up being. We mentioned so many times in Game 1 that he is a LeBlanc and Zoe player, so going towards his bread and butter LeBlanc. The thing about LeBlanc is I always love to see a strong mid-jungle 2v2, which Trundle LeBlanc is just so awkward. You can set up a pillar into a chain on a champion like Orianna, who is immobile, but you know it's not something as prime as a LeBlanc Rek'Sai or LeBlanc Lee Sin, right?
Trundle doesn't offer the hard CC to set LeBlanc up, unfortunately. So you kind of, the pillar is basically the only CC if the ethereal chains can't land. And the ethereal chains often are landing because of the hard CC.
Exactly. And I still think it's fine. It still fits in the composition, does well against a lot of meta champions, and you're obviously very strong in the levels like 1 through 3, so it guarantees that aspect of dueling with the other enemy jungle, but just more guaranteed picks as we see respect coming out from both of our coaching staffs. It is Panda and BSYY.
And we'll have to see how these compositions are going to pan out with Diana coming on through.
Could have swore that was LeBlanc.
Yeah.
I mean, that was definitely a LeBlanc. Definitely. Like, no doubt in my mind.
I guess we'll find out when we get onto the Rift. What's in the mid lane? I saw a LeBlanc. I'm pretty sure that was locked in. Unless we're going crazy.
We might be going crazy, but
it's very
I
possible
am almost positive that chat also saw LeBlanc.
It is a LeBlanc. Okay, it was just a weird thing on the LED wall. We're getting into game number 2 here. Icon has his LeBlanc. It's top esports against OMG. OMG taking game 1 in a surprise upset. I would love to see them take this, because that would really shake up the league. That would really mix up the standings.
Also really interesting that he picked LeBlanc into Orianna. Early on, LeBlanc doesn't pressure in the matchup. You have like a lot of mobility from your distortion to try and dodge out on the ball plays and try to just land your chain into, you know, a Q and an auto, come out ahead with an electrocute proc, but even once we start hitting like level 5, 6, 7, Orianna, of course, has the shield. Her passive makes her auto attack trading just so strong, and will always have the ability to clear the wave. And I like the adaptation of, we're seeing Orianna stick with the spellbook build, so gonna have a lot of utility as the game goes on. Gonna be able to pick up something like an exhaust.
Yep, you can go for whatever you need at the time. But let's talk a little bit about the expectations for these two teams, not in terms of organizations, but in terms of when they need to win the game. Because obviously OMG not just going for the hyper late game this time around.
No, OMG having a lot more of a, let's say, mid-game spiking comp in comparison to what TS have picked up, for the fact that you do have a LeBlanc, you do have a Wukong in the top lane, so you're going to be able to start a lot of these skirmishes around the, you know, 10-15 minute point fighting for these dragons and heralds. Of course, TS having the Orianna and the Ezreal, so a ton of scaling there, as well as the Mordekaiser, which is going to be strong in the laning phase, but will also still bully out Wukong in the side lanes later on.
Yeah, this is the thing. Mordekaiser, as soon as you've hit that level 6, you're pretty much consistently going to be an exceptionally strong threat in those team fights just because of your ultimate alone. Even outside of scaling and tankiness, just that ultimate does so much.
The thing I love about Mordekaiser against compositions that have like a LeBlanc in the mid lane as well is it's very nice to kind of peel for your AD carry by just the threat of the Death Realm against someone like Icon jumping in, trying to find a pick.
Old Proxy's big old red eyes with the shield there, but he's going to be forced away in the bottom lane. And we are going to see, I'm expecting a relatively slow-paced early game here because we don't have the Lee Sin versus Rek'Sai matchup that we had last time around. Karsa is going to be on that Lee Sin, but, you know, based on game number 1, Karsa's not feeling that aggressive today. Bit of a trade in the top side. But
And also keep in mind that this is a losing jungle matchup early on, and you are getting pushed in the mid lane. Hacker, of course, should win this 1v1 duel.
And he is going to find the duel onto Karsa, who just has to
also has the
safeguard
red
away
buff,
over the
so
wall.
red buff plus press the attack plus the fact you're just a Trundle against the Lee Sin. Feeling quite nice.
Smite available for Karsa. It's not available for Hacker, though, so this should be a red buff taken away here, given a shield by Knight. Nice team play here from top esports. The rest of the squad moving in to make sure that Karsa's going to be okay.
You do lose a bit, though, right? Because Orianna was losing a bit of experience. I think only 1 or 2 minions were taken away by the turret, but once again, good to see good play coming out from Hacker, realizing he has the advantage, using his mid priority, and just trying to bully out Karsa in this matchup.
Hacker has been comfortably the best player on OMG in this series. I'd love to see him continue with that kind of theme. If he can, though, it's going to be very much a question of consistency. Curse being forced away from the Darkness Rise here. Pulled in. Just gets away with the Warrior Trickster.
This is what we expect to see. This is Mordekaiser against Wukong. They have a very easy time in this lane, but Curse in a really rough position. 369 can try and zone him off some of this range CS, and he might be forced to blow a TP.
Oh, it's going to be a TP from Knight instead as Karsa's arriving as well. Curse dodges away from the pullback, but he's so low. 369 can take another shot. Nice flash. Karsa doesn't quite finish it off. Red buff isn't enough. Karsa's still going though. Flashes for the kill. Karsa with first blood once again. Now he's in a 1v1 though, and Hacker should easily finish this off. Keeps himself alive. Sonic Wave. Oh my days. So close, but Hacker gets it.
I have to start off with Curse played that probably to absolute perfection. There's probably nothing micro-wise you could have done better than what Curse had just played, and secured a 1-for-1 off of what started as a bad trade by him, initially pushing in that wave level 1, giving 369 the long lane to abuse, but that's what we watch LPL for, right? To see the mechanical plays like that.
So well played. And, you know, Karsa as well, stepping up, going so deep to finish that kill off to make the play worth it. Nearly found the 1v1 somehow against Hacker.
Yeah. And
I can't believe that was as close as it was.
instead, we end up in a 1-for-1, and it does look like it's okay for 369 because he still has flash and TP, and it looks like the wave is pushing back into him, so Curse still going to be in a very rough position.
We are going to see Karsa kicks off with this Infernal Drake. Start that one off as he knows Hacker was over towards the top side of the map. Or at least he's read that Hacker was on the top side of the map. Feels comfortable to just start this off.
And they have TP advantage, so 369 can be here if he needs.
Going to be able to smite this one away. Safeguard over to safety. Icon trying to threaten, trying to pressure, potentially look for a kill, but on the Lee Sin, you are very safe to go for these kinds of objectives thanks to the Safeguard being able to just nip over the wall whenever you need.
And now we see Hacker trying to take advantage of that, expecting Karsa to go towards his Krugs, and going to try and counter jungle, also get some good vision, which will give Curse some safety later on, depending on his jungle path.
And once again, Hacker doing the right things here. He's going to be able to set up for this top side as well for when Rift Herald does spawn.
I also like, because Curse has ultimate right now, knows he actually can't really achieve anything in that 1v1 top side, isn't going to take any plates, so instead looking for the team play.
And it's an important thing to mention about that control ward as well is Herald is going to be up in a minute and a half. So long as that control ward is still there, so long as it's not been cleared out by then, that's going to be very crucial vision for if they do try and set up a play on that and if it is contested.
Yeah, and Curse used the scrying plant, which let Karsa know that he's there, so that's why they're taking this slowly, and actually yuyanjia's already on his way.
Curse moving back towards the top side. Karsa is spotted out on a ward. His blue buff has been warded already. That was Curse that dropped that one. And in the meantime, Hacker moves to the bottom side of the map. Got a 1v1 between our top laners, but Warrior Trickster means 369 can't get quite as much damage as he would have liked. Still going to be winning out this matchup overall, though.
Yep, that passive shield is always just so dangerous.
So we have quite a quiet early game. And Lyric, I want to ask you, looking at this series overall, OMG managing to take that first game, what does this say about top esports to you? Because we were coming into this series saying, top esports, best team in the world, Knight, best mid laner in the world, etc., etc. Do you still feel that that's the case? We actually might have a solo kill here. Curse is really going to commit to this one, and Hacker has arrived as well. 369. I mean, he's going to go for the 1v1 with Hacker. Actually, he might just win this one. 369 wants to make the play. 2v1. Doesn't have his flash, though. Now he's on to Curse. He could just 2v1 this one. They don't have the damage. Shield might just be on cooldown, though. He gets one of them. Curse turns it around, but again, 1-for-1 in the top side. Karsa misses the Sonic Wave.
369 just wasted so much of their time. Almost gave Karsa enough time to come back, but showing us the strength of Mordekaiser and why as a level 5 Trundle, you do not approach a level 7 Mordekaiser.
And once again, 369 as a player has been not really in the conversation of the top laners in the LPL, but I think this split so far, he's starting to make a statement for himself.
Even in spring, we said in playoffs, in the final, me and Hysterix were talking about that It was very unfair that Gimgoon got the second pro team vote. It definitely should have been 369. 369 was having such a good split. But just continuing that once again, and after that, all the shenanigans in the top lane, Curse not able to go punish even if he had known that Karsa was doing the Herald, so going to lead into this kind of play. But I want to go back to what you were saying before about what does this say about top esports. And coming from a team background, coming from a coaching background, interacting with players, I want to say that playing 16 series of split, you are going to have bad moments, and it's much harder to, let's say, go something like 16-0 than comparatively if you were playing less or playing best of ones or something like this, right? You're going to have off times. You're not going to be able to prepare for everything as efficiently as you want, especially with how many games you're playing here in the LPL and how often, right? It makes you wonder how teams are spacing out their off days and their scrim days and things like this. So I wouldn't say this paints too bad of a portrait of TES.
Okay. We're going to allow a few mistakes. We're going to allow a few compositions that don't necessarily work.
Let's even think about teams like G2 and Spring saying, hey, we're going to ease up coming into a split because there's just too much. And think about it. In LPL, if there's too much in LEC and LCS, there's like, oh, God, I don't even want to think about it.
There's like triple or something. 369, though, in trouble. And Curse is just going to get a solo kill. He made it look easy, Lyric.
Yeah, once Wukong hits that level 6 point, his ultimate, the scaling on the max health is just so strong. I don't know. Wukong's an interesting champion that is not catching on in other regions. We were talking about this earlier. Like, why are these other regions not playing Wukong? When you watch LPL and just, like, what's Wukong's weakness?
I don't know, man.
You lose in the very early laning phase, then you kind of have more of a neutral matchup once you hit your ultimate, and then sure, like in the very late stages, you can't side lane, but you're not a side lane champion. You go in, you press R, you buy a lot of time with your clones, and you just win.
Honestly, he just seems insanely strong to me right now. The amount of, not just the CC that you offer, but also the amount of damage that you do with your ult.
Let's make the caveat, we're talking about in competitive, but ooh. Really good play coming out from yuyanjia. Cold, I'm not sure what Cold was actually doing there, but forcing SMLZ's cleanse.
Nicely done there. Means that they get the Drake as well. That's going to be 2 now in their favor. So perhaps learning from game number 1 and deciding we're not going to let OMG get all of the Drakes this time around. They aren't going to be so lucky, though. It's going to be the Cloud Drake. The Cloud Soul, sorry, this time around. TP comes through SMLZ. Finished off. Easy peasy.
And build up this bulwark on the turret and then drop down the Herald is exactly what they're going to do. And typically, TES does do this, which is very interesting because we don't see them play around bot lane, right? But they almost always elect to give JackeyLove the Herald gold, which obviously differs from composition to composition, but he does tend to be on this Ezreal, and that's where they like to put their value.
It makes sense as well because, you know, Ezreal is so weak in the early stages of the game. Giving that plate gold over can help you get to this stage where you do start to get your 2 items on through. You can get towards even that death stance a little bit later on.
And Icon taking advantage of the 2 times we've seen Knight TP to the side lane is able to get a bunch of plates in mid, but still not really fast-tracking this into any type of advantage. We see the items are equal right now, but I expect Icon sitting on a back timing, so should be able to go and buy something, but of course, you feel a lot better about having an Orianna in the late game rather than something like a LeBlanc.
And I'm kind of surprised at how, I guess, passive Icon has been so far this game. As I say that, he moves up towards the top side. But again, it's a Mordekaiser. I'm not sure really the best target to try and pull a dive.
You think about it, right? You have a Mordekaiser on one side, you have an Ezreal on the other who's going to be very hard to lock down, and it's like you don't have the best options.
Kind of difficult to pull a play off, and as you rightly say, the 2v2 not there in the mid lane, but Curse 369 wants a bit of revenge for what happened earlier on, and Karsa is going to be happy to help him deliver that. Waits for the Cyclone, then goes for the Sonic Wave. That's a clone, my friends.
Still going to force him out. Should force Curse to use the TP, so in about 30 seconds, we're going to have 369 with a TP advantage to make a play around Dragon in, you know, about 2 minutes.
2 minutes and 40 seconds to be precise. We did see Hacker move into the mid lane there.
We see Icon moving.
Yeah, and I think JackeyLove knows what's going on. Well, I think there are wards. He definitely knows.
Ezreal munchable, so it doesn't matter. Not saying that LeBlanc can't kill an Ezreal,
I feel like
LeBlanc definitely can.
most champions can walk away when they see the enemy on a ward. I don't think that's
sure?
exclusive to Ezreal.
Are you positive?
But then who needs a map, you know?
You know, I just want to say I saw in a Reddit post once that who needs wards when you have eyes?
I don't know what the conclusion to that is, honestly.
I don't
feel like wards are pretty ineffective without eyes. Unless you have some kind of braille wards. I don't know. Braille minimap.
Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that either, actually.
I don't know what the conclusion is. I disagree. I guess they're saying you can spot when someone is missing. But pro tip, the jungler is almost always missing. Hacker might be missing from the scoreboard because look at the CC chain. Down he goes. Icon forced to flee. Dragon not up for another minute and a half, but hey, Karsa got the blue buff.
Yeah, yes he did, and like you already pointed out, they killed Hacker, which is going to be massive. Now they can try and turn their bot priority into hovering mid and then going towards that second Herald.
yuyanjia moving in towards the mid lane here. And I like yuyanjia, man. I want to talk about yuyanjia for a second here because, you know, top esports, if you're yuyanjia, it's going to be hard to make a name for yourself, even on a roster like this, because look at the talent that you're next to. It's going to be hard to outshine these guys,
right? It sucks because even if you play good, like, other than to people who, like, truly know this game on, like, a micro level and, like, bot, especially, I think, bot lane mains and, like, High Challenger and other pros, it's going to be very hard for a general audience who, no matter how good you play, they can just be like, well, it's JackeyLove.
It's that kind of meme of the support feeding the AD carry all game long, and then they're like, oh my god, AD carry, you're doing so well. Except it's compounded because you're next to JackeyLove.
Yes. I'd say the good thing for him is he is more of a playmaking support on champions like Thresh. Because think about someone like Xiaoxi, right? It's very easy to see Xiaoxi's impact in the game because of the way Xiaoxi plays.
Nice in a 1v1. I say that. Karsa's arrived. Turret low, but they're going to be all right.
And we see 369 pushing out the... He TP'd top, which gave him prio, push that out, is heading down towards bot, and is hopefully going to secure TS a Dragon with numbers advantage. And recognizing that, OMG are actually just opting for the Herald.
yuyanjia couldn't quite get that second ward there. Dragon already started by Karsa, and as you rightly say, OMG move up. Well, they try to move up towards the Herald, but top esports, they want their cake and to eat it.
The one thing I love about Mordekaiser, though, is when your enemy jungler is doing an objective, you can pull him into Death Realm and buy enough time for your jungler to arrive.
He absolutely can, but Cold wants to make the play, and it's JackeyLove caught out once again. Time and time again this series, and Knight wants to answer for it. Cold does survive, though. Karsa has arrived, and the Rift Herald did reset. 20 seconds on JackeyLove here.
And it does look like they're going to posture to try and stop OMG from doing it. They did blow 3 flashes for that, by the way.
Yeah, but with Knight's ult on cooldown, this might be hard, although 369 might just be able to kill Hacker, which is exactly what he's going to do. I guess 369 is just putting everyone on his back this game. In they go. Curse gets the ultimate, though. Cold pulling everyone in, and Knight chased down by the monkey. This is the fight for OMG, and potentially the snowball that they need for 2 games. Herald goes their way.
That is so depressing because 369, like you said, he was putting that fight on his back, killed Hacker, got Curse low initially, but still, we know Orianna doesn't have any damage at this point in the game. JackeyLove was already dead, so pretty much 369 versus the world.
And, you know, you mentioned Orianna not having any damage, also didn't have ultimate available.
True.
Like, what are you really going to do as Orianna, aside from just 1 QW? So, it felt, again, kind of disrespectful from top esports to even go for that fight in the first place.
I actually liked the posturing from them because we saw the value of a Mordekaiser, right? And it's something I feel like we don't see enough of, trying to abuse enemy junglers in objective fights. But the fact that JackeyLove got caught out, and even saying the word caught out feels hard because they did dedicate 3 flashes and 3 ultimates. SMLZ Cold all use their ultimate to kill JackeyLove. Kind of unfortunate. Should he have pathed better? Probably, but ultimately, still TS making a mistake by then trying to fight without JackeyLove, right?
Exactly. Trying to fight without JackeyLove, without Knight's ultimate. Fair play to 369. like, despite his scoreline, is still actually looking really good this game. He has been just so many times he's in situations where he's outnumbered, he's the one against the wall, and he'll find himself a kill somehow.
Yep, but now we're at a point where OMG want to try and pull Knight to a side lane. Both Curse and Icon feel fine sitting in a side lane. Neither one really wants to go toe-to-toe with 369. Curse might be able to once he picks up the death stance, but Icon definitely wants to steer clear of that. But it's about making Knight come, and obviously, as we see here, Karsa has to shadow because Orianna isn't a mobile mage, can't safely sit there himself, and then try... Ooh.
Karsa might be late to this one, or maybe not. Shockwave is there. Curse followed on through. Cyclone is not quite enough damage, and Knight will survive. True Shot Barrage, just in case from JackeyLove.
Just great play coming out from TES, because, okay, 369.
Okay, 369 is
gonna kill someone.
not gonna be in trouble. Hacker in the 1v1 once again. Great pillar, though, to keep yourself safe, and that's gonna be a kill onto the Mordekaiser. It should lead to a tower as well.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. It's not stopping anytime soon. Karsa doesn't have the Dragon's Rage, but yuyanjia could just Solar Flare on in. Nice little cleanse from SMLZ. This will be the tower going down. Great pressure across the map here from Top Esports. OMG trying to answer in the bottom side.
And it's great to see how it started because OMG doing what they wanted, right? We were talking about them setting up in side lanes, pulling Knight to a side lane. They do that, but Karsa shadows. TS know the plan that OMG are trying to do, pull him into a side lane, either find that 1v1 or just get priority on him from your kill threat and then rotate to mid first and look for a skirmish. But Karsa calling that bluff, coming, finding the kill, and then winning out in 2 lanes as compared to OMG just being able to pick up that bottom lane turret.
And it's such a dramatic difference to the first game of this series, right? Where we saw it was OMG actually winning out on these macro decisions. This time around, Top Esports, they read the playbook. They go, look, we know what you're doing, and we're going to outplay you.
I love that you point that out because in the last game, we saw a very good lane setup coming out from OMG, opting into the 1-1-3, right? With their soul laners sitting in top and mid with their 3 trio trying to get bot lane turret while JackeyLove and yuyanjia were in the mid lane.
Now, we do have to quickly mention 30 seconds until this Cloud Drake spawns. This would be Soul for Top Esports. Now, it's not as impactful as the Soul was last game because it is that Cloud Drake, but it is still important to get the Dragon Soul. But also Icon. We talked about his LeBlanc. It's one of his signature picks. He's looking amazing this game.
He has been able to find the presence kind of going in and out of these fights, and we knew last split he was amazing on it.
And it's off the back of us, you know, we kind of criticized him in the early game not being proactive enough. Against Mordekaiser, against JackeyLove, he's still been able to find these kills.
And he is going to have a flanking position.
They're just going to get Soul before the fight even kicks off. Now we go for the skirmish. Icon getting onto JackeyLove, but can't quite connect the damage. The chains went wide. Curse into the backline here. Wants to get the Cyclone, but 369 pulled him into the Death Realm. JackeyLove gets one for himself. Even yuyanjia surviving. Icon can't get the chains. He's flashing away. JackeyLove not going to chase for that one. Now into the mid lane.
TS having a superior position, got the dragon. OMG were late on the
Knight's
fight.
found him. He's not going to get away with this one. Icon can't escape. Or
Yes,
can he?
can.
Blast Cone.
He's LeBlanc, Munchables.
Go on,
Of course he can
yuyanjia.
escape.
Finish him off. Nah, okay.
But I actually didn't even see where Rookie used his shockwave in that fight. But look at the cooldown.
Rookie's not playing.
Oh, not Rookie. I'm sorry, Knight.
Yeah, that's how synonymous Rookie is with Orianna.
I was going to say, I see Orianna, I think Rookie. But
Yeah.
look at Knight's ultimate. It's actually already back up.
Yeah. That's the beauty of Orianna past level 11. It is a very long cooldown to start with. But this is also the strength of Top Esports. When they find themselves a lead, they will snowball so quickly, getting the Baron off the back of this Soul as well.
Yeah, now they're going to be able to go put themselves in siege positions. And you look at OMG's wave clear, the fact that they opted into a LeBlanc means it's not really there. But let's look at this fight again. I want to see where Knight uses his shockwave here. Does go put it down. Okay, hits it on SMLZ, so that's a good shockwave coming out. 369 just done a ton of work zoning the members of OMG and leaving JackeyLove in a good position to deal so much free damage. Icon trying to salvage something at the end, but isn't able to. And yeah, now I expect us to get into the siege position where OMG don't really have the wave clear to deal with an Ezreal Orianna.
And once again, we saw 369 in that fight. Curse comes in, tries to do Wukong things, tries to set up this perfect team fight for his team, but Death Realm happens, so he doesn't get to do any of that. He doesn't get the option to pop off and carry. Icon trying to get onto Knight, but he's got a Banshees. Worth mentioning, Knights picked up as a Magi Soul Stealer. I can't talk today.
I want to touch on the Mordekaiser, but I feel like we're going to see a fight, so let's ignore the Mordekaiser.
yuyanjia going to walk in 1v4 to start things off because he's Leona and he can. The rest of the team now going to arrive. True Shot Barrage. But yuyanjia has gone down. And JackeyLove has jumped straight into a Cyclone, but you know what? That Cyclone on cooldown.
It's very fitting that you say he starts a fight because he can, and that shows why you don't only start a fight because you can. That should not be the reason. True.
But it actually has kind of worked out for Top Esports. I'm not quite sure how, but hey, they're straight on towards an inhib tower. Karsa pulled away, safeguard to safety.
They would have been on the inhib turret regardless. They had Baron.
That's true. I can't really argue with that. They need to get their other waves in order as well, honestly, because I don't know if they're going to be able to finish off a tower at this rate.
They do have a ton of siege, like we pointed out, and their only wave clear is SMLZ.
So importantly, look at the ultimates on the side of OMG. It's only SMLZ's ult up. Curse can't really do anything in these fights, so they're kind of fine to just keep this going.
Honestly, JackeyLove can probably just keep throwing out his ultimate as well. It's going to be up in like 30 seconds or something, so...
Okay, they're going to back away in the end. yuyanjia has arrived, moved to the mid lane to clear.
Still, big mistake, right?
Yeah.
They probably could have gotten that turret had they not made that mistake and more yuyanjia, who, once again, is getting caught out.
yuyanjia is going to get caught by the chain. There's no way out of this one, I'm afraid. And we'll see who gets the kill. I think Karsa will be the one to finish it off. How is he so damn fast? He is real speedy, but he's going to just about fall down in the end. JackeyLove maybe can answer. I don't know. Damage won't quite connect from the True Shot Barrage. That means he could be in trouble himself, but the chains go wide, and Icon will fall. Well played by JackeyLove. Curse as well, taken into the Death Realm. His 369 arrives. Big old thumbs up, because JackeyLove knows that he gets a double.
Yeah, they get some kills, but sadly they don't have the Baron anymore, which obviously does really feel like a missed opportunity in that top lane siege, but
yeah.
Also, yuyanjia is showing us why he is the weakness of this team.
How dare you. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're certainly not wrong. Mispositioning there. I don't know how he was so fast. He nearly escaped. I think he's running water walking or something. I'm not sure.
I have no comment.
Okay.
I have no comment on your opinions of Leona's
I feel like a journalist trying to talk to a politician right now. No comment. Moving on. Death Dance finished here for JackeyLove. And 10-10 on the scoreboard at 26 minutes. It's not been that... I feel like we've had more action than that kill score actually denotes to.
It feels like it, right? This game feels like it's been pretty much constant action, especially with the fact that every time Knight's TP was up, he TP'd to a side lane to look for a play. So we also got a lot of like skirmishing back and forth in the top lane, like that 1v1, even if it didn't always end up being a kill.
Has to be said, even though he did die in that last fight, Icon is doing pretty well for himself. He's 5-1-1 on the scoreboard. JackeyLove as well is looking pretty good, but forget the items on JackeyLove right now. We already talked about the death stance. Icon, 5-1-1. If he can land these chains during the fights, he can be the difference maker.
I feel like if he doesn't find a pick...
Well, he might have found a pick.
Oh,
JackeyLove... Oh, no. He's with his team. He's fine. True Shot Barrage flashed away from by Icon here. In they go. Nautilus depth charge onto him. Curse trying to get onto the backline as well, but JackeyLove survives. In the meantime, 369 is onto SMLZ. Double kill for him as they just close things out here. Icon, despite being 5-1-1, can do nothing. Karsa styles on him to finish that fight out, and this is going to be game for top.
Yeah, and we're actually getting a full series out of this series, which pretty unexpected, but also really impressive from 369 in these fights.
369 on Mordekaiser looks real scary. Top esports in general. JackeyLove managing to survive that fight. Really nice solo flare from yuyanjia as well to stop Curse from being able to finish him off. And all things considered, top esports coming back a little bit in this series.